Students, I am Dr. Sachin Desai and I will be discussing about the global and national policies for the elderly. So we'll specifically see the terminologies related to the global and national policies. We'll classify and describe the policies in detail. We'll see that the need for having a public health policy, and we'll also classify and enumerate the policies based on the agenda of implementation. So the headings would be the same: introduction, terminologies, need for the policy, list of policies, challenges, recommendations, and references. So in a graying India and with a demographic transition that is evident, the current age pyramid in India is having a transition from pyramidal in shape to the upper segment, which is also increasing. So it's of utmost importance to address the increased number of senior citizens in India. So over the years, the government has launched various schemes and policies for the elderly, and they are basically to promote the good health, well-being and independence of the elderly around the country. So a policy is a system which provides a logical framework and rationality of decision making to achieve the intended objectives. A legislation is a law which is considered collectively together with many terms and conditions coming under it. Act is a law adopted or enacted by the national or state legislative body, and a program is a set of related measures or activities with a particular long-term aim. So why do we need to have a policy for the elderly? We need to care for the old and the very old, who are from 75 to 89 and 90 to 99 years of age, to minimize the burden of socio-economic, social, functional dependence and determinants which prevent health-seeking practices among elderly. We would also want to help the senior citizens during a catastrophic out-of-pocket expenditure event. We would also ensure enabling and supporting environment for the elderly and care and support for the caregivers of the senior citizens. So according to the chronology of policies concerning the elderly in India, we'll see them what have been implemented according to the chronological order. In the year 1992, the integrated program for the older persons was implemented. In the year 1994, the National Old Age Pension Scheme was the first pension scheme to be implemented in India. Then came the National Policy for the Older Persons in 1999 and the National Council for the Older Persons. And in 2000 came the National Initiative for the Care of Elderly and Old Age Social Security Schemes, where the social security schemes were highlighted in this program. In 2007, the first legislation for maintaining the welfare of the parents and senior citizens was enacted. In 2009, the Indira Gandhi National Widow Pension Scheme was implemented. In 2011, the National Policy for Senior Citizens, Indira Gandhi National Old Age Pension Scheme was revised, and the National Program for Health Care of the Elderly was implemented. So these are a few policies which are there in the developed nations. What is in US, UK, Denmark and Australia. So in Australia, in 1997, there was an Aged Care Act where caregiving for the aged was implemented. In 2001, the National Strategy for Aging Australia was came into force. In the UK, in 2005, the Opportunity Age was introduced. Independence, Wellbeing and Choice in 2005 came into existence in the United Kingdom. And in 2007, another policy named Sure Start to Later Life came into existence. In Denmark, in 2007, came the Consolidation Act on Social Services. There was also a report based on the report in 2006, which was on the strategies for protection and social security for the elderly. So in the US, which is the first to implement a social security pension as early as in 1935. In 1960, the medical assistance for the aged came into being. And in 1962, Social Security Act and the Old Americans Act came into existence. So let us discuss the policies for the elderly in India. The national policy for older persons in the year 1991 was with the following objectives: to encourage the individuals to make provision for their own as well as their spouse old age, to encourage the families to take care of the older family members, to enable the support and use of voluntary and NGOs to supplement the care provided by the family, and to provide healthcare facilities to the elderly. To also promote research and training facilities to train geriatric caregivers and organizers of service for the elderly, and also to create awareness regarding the elder persons to develop themselves into fully independent citizens. So the areas of concern are basically uniform age of 60 plus to extend facilities, benefits to the senior citizens, financial security, healthcare, addressing the nutritional needs, food security and shelter, meeting education, training and information, identifying the most vulnerable among and working for their welfare. Realizing the crucial role of media and highlighting the situation and the importance of IEC and BCC are the areas of concern of this program. Also regarding protection of life and property of the elderly is the need of the hour. So the National Council for Older Persons under the chairmanship of Ministry of Social Justice and Empowerment was established in the year 2000 with the objectives to advise and aid the government on policies and programs for the older person, to provide a feedback to the government on implementation of the NPOP as well as the other programs and initiatives for the older persons. It also would be an advisory to the government on policies and programs for the old. It would act as a nodal point at the national level for readdressing the grievances of the old. It would also provide a lobby for concessions, rebates and discounts, and it would take steps to make old age productive and interesting. It would also suggest measures to enhance quality of intergenerational relationships. Now related to the social security of the old, we have the Old Age Social and Income Security, which organizes pension, gratuity, income tax rebate for the elderly. For the unorganized sector, employees or for those who are self-employed, which includes Jeevan Dhara, Jeevan Akshay, Jeevan Suraksha. Senior citizen unit plans like the medical insurance, concession for travel, National Old Age Pension Scheme are the few others to mention. So welfare for the senior citizens include financial assistance to the NGOs running old age homes, daycare centers, and also assistance to the Panchayat Raj institutions and voluntary organizations for construction of old age homes in the district. The Old Age Social Security and Income Scheme also is a project that is on the premise that every young worker can build up savings during his working life. It protects the elderly from poverty in the old age and reduces the burden to all states in India, to the elderly. The core strategies for the National Program for Healthcare of the Elderly. It was implemented with the following strategies: to enhance community-based primary healthcare approach and domiciliary visits by trained healthcare workers. Dedicated services at PHC, CHC, including provision of machinery, equipment, training, and other human resources. Also providing information, education, and communication, health education, material, and information to the elderly. So this dedicated facility is done at the district hospitals with a 10-bedded ward and human resources, machinery, and equipment with consumables and drugs provided by the government. It has aim to strengthen the 8 medical institutions to provide dedicated tertiary care to the elderly, including PG courses in geriatric medicines and in-service training for health personnel at all levels, IEC and behavioral change using mass media, folk media and other communication channels to reach out to the target community. So the main expected outcomes for this National Program for Healthcare of the Elderly is setting up 8 regional medical institutes, geriatric units within them, and a dedicated OPD and a 30-bedded geriatric ward. Postgraduates in geriatric medicine, 16 of them are to be graduated, and amongst these 8 regional medical institutes, that is 2 seats per institute. Video conferencing unit in the regional medical institutes to be utilized for capacity building and mentoring. District geriatric units with dedicated geriatric OPD and 10-bedded geriatric ward in 80 to 100 districts in India. Geriatric clinics, rehabilitation units and domiciliary units in the community and primary health centers in selected districts. After validation and as a pilot, they would be implemented throughout India. Sub-centers with equipment to reach the community outreach services are the grassroots level centers to begin their work on the elderly. So the guidelines include the services with specialities to begin in the institute. Patients should be referred to the services to various departments under the following guidelines. The age should be 60 and above, and special preference to be given to 80 plus individuals. Frail elderly patients and poor functional status have to be taken care of first. Older patients with multiple medical, psychological and social problems are to be addressed first. Then the Department of Geriatric Medicine should have acute care, intermediate care and long-term care in continuum, with the focus on improving the functional status and independence and quality of life. So setting up this in the medical college and developing an outreach services for the patients discharged to the community to provide adequate follow-up and a network with community care professionals and NGOs will definitely improve the health of the elderly. So the Department of Geriatric Medicine in the medical colleges should provide a dedicated outpatient services which includes comprehensive geriatric assessment. Also specialties like the surgery, ophthalmology, ENT, urology, psychiatry, orthopedics, dental survey and physical medicine and rehabilitation should be provided once a week to all the elderly. Specialist clinics which include incontinence clinic, dementia clinic, falls clinic should be organized in the medical colleges under and in the community under this National Program for the Healthcare of Elderly. So the other schemes that come under for the elderly include the integrated program for the older persons. Here, financial assistance up to 90% of the project cost is provided by the government in establishing old age homes, daycare centers and mobile daycare units, which is non-institutional services for the elderly. The scheme also provides construction of old age homes and service centers for the older people. So there is interministerial coordination which needs to be done. 22 ministries, departments representative in the state and union territories ensuring speedy implementation of this program and review needs to be addressed, and their role is very essential in implementing this program. Economic security to the elderly in the form of pension, gratuity, dearness relief and old age pension to the rural elderly, income tax rebate and higher interest on savings also need to be provided under this. The National Old Age Pension Scheme is a monthly pension scheme for the destitute old who are more than 65 years through panchayat and municipalities. 200 rupees from the central and the rest from the state. 500 rupees is provided in Karnataka currently under this scheme. So medical insurance, travel concessions in the bus, train and flight, Antodaya scheme and Annapurna scheme where food grains are provided to the elderly, special counters for the railway ticket booking, IT return filing, priority in paying electrical and phone bills and separate queues in the hospitals and are under this social security scheme. Phone connections are given on priority basis and helpline for elderly is functional. Elderly disputes in the court cases have to be addressed earlier if it's a senior citizen. So Article 41 has a legislation which deals with the state's role in providing social security for the aged. The Maintenance of Welfare for the Parents and Senior Citizens Act 2007 helps in maintaining the health of the elderly and senior citizens, establishing old age homes, provision of medical care for the senior citizens, protection of life and property of the senior citizens, and offences are to be dealt in detail under the legislations. The persons with disabilities have equal opportunities under the Equal Opportunity Protection of Rights and Full Participation Act of 1995. So in order to implement the policy, the 4 P's for public health are very essential: political support, program implementation, perception by the people, and the policy itself. If implemented, if all 4 together work in integration, then it will lead to success of the program. There are a few challenges which have been faced by the government in implementing their policies. Timely implementation of the policies and its constant monitoring for amendments at regular intervals is the need of the hour. Emphasis on public-private partnership for better delivery of the services, coordination of the program to various departments of the health sector, programs for caregivers need to be formulated, and research on social geriatrics is important. So we would want to recommend that importance of the need of implementation and maintaining the programs like the National Program for Health Care of the Elderly and Annapurna scheme are essential, and it needs to be addressing the gap between the awareness and utilization of the pension schemes, especially the BPL elderly, by linking to Aadhaar card so that exact beneficiaries can be reached. Developing an efficient delivery mechanism is a big challenge in India, with public-private partnership playing an important role and effective in implementation. These are the references. Thank you very much.